Yeah. So first opening statements, first of all, thoughts and prayers with everybody in Mississippi during this weather condition. It's terrible to see some of the news, and especially little kids who don't have a jacket in the cold weather. So praying for those people, and we'll continue to pray for them. Also want to shout out my staff. All right, real quick, unbelievable. I got one of the best trainers in the country, Taylor Pitts, and strength coaches and Katie Jones. The hours they're putting behind the scenes to help get my team ready. Carissa Richardson was literally turned her ankle 5 minutes in the practice before Alabama, and the hours they've put in to fight to get her ready. And then along with Carissa and multiple kids, Madison, playing through energies. I couldn't be more inspired as a head coach, and especially when you talk about I've been inspired. A bus full of our fans drove in the ice conditions to come to Alabama. Right? That's the why I do this job. So I just wanted to make sure I thanked a lot of people who are working behind during this middle of the season. So with that, questions?
Okay, so Colin.
Big thing for you was playing well on the road. How do you feel like your team responded at you didn't get the win, but how do you feel like they responded playing on the road at Alabama?
Yeah, so obviously we didn't start well, but to come back and be in that game, have the lead, lose the lead, come back again was a toughness that we talked about, right? That we haven't had it all on the road. And then now it's just, again, we mentioned this earlier at home, the 50, 40, 10. The last 10% is an absolute dogfight. And for us to beat these top 25 teams, Alabama took it to us that last 5 minutes. And that's when I'm going to, again, talk to my young women as we are young and inexperienced. I thought some of that inexperience came to life there in that last 5 minutes because they seized the moment we didn't. So again, we all hate losing, and I keep saying this word, we hate it, but you got to learn from it. So we're going to address the elephant in the room, and we're going to hopefully grow for that. So when this moment happens again, that we seize the moment, especially on the road.
Yeah, kind of adding to that, it seemed like the difference was they had somebody like Carly Weathers who could take over a quarter at the end of the game. When you have younger players like Madison and Jayla having a big impact on this game and playing against someone like that, what are they seeing and what are they learning from an opponent, going forward?
Yeah, just to that. Hopefully, that's what top players do. You see, when the moment presents itself, you close the game, right? And that's again to your point. Weathers never was really an impact all game. Now she's a heck of a defender. She doesn't get enough credit. She made a great rotational steal on Madison on the spin. But when we left her open, she capitalized, I think, on 3 threes, right, at the end, and that's what good players do. Once my number's called, make shots, and again, you got to tip the hat to her. So that's what I hope they see. And then also when we talk about seeing is, again, I'm never going to point the finger at my team without pointing it at me. Sanaya King deserved more minutes. All right, when I went back on that tape, I'm beating myself up because she should have been in the rotation more there in the second half, and so I'm going to take the blame for that. But overall, we're in this together. I keep saying this. I couldn't be more proud of the young women I'm coaching. We're playing, which you just saw in the AP just came out yesterday, the most top 25 teams ever in the history of the SEC are in this league, so you're playing the best competition. Bracketology has us in, so I've got to give a lens, but at the same time, we got to seize the moment. You got to steal a big one, and you got to win the ones you need to, and that's where, we've addressed it. We know what's up, and then when your back's against the wall, you got to go out and do it. And so I hope I see a hungry team that's going to claw, scrap, fight, dig, punch. I'm thinking of any other words I'm missing. Every single game as we finish out this SEC play.
Obviously, the second time you guys have faced Tennessee, what changes, if anything, when you're preparing to play a team for the second time in less than a month?
Yeah, so, again, credit to them. This is obviously their first place in the SEC. They have the depth and then probably the most talented roster top to bottom. And so you try to mimic that in practice, but you can't. So it helps that you've played a game. So some of the breakdown drills and what our practice team is going to try to simulate, they have a better visual now that you've played them for one game. So I think that's the biggest thing that helps. But at the end of the day, you can play the game. You got to go out and execute. We've got to knock down open shots. You're going to get them. I thought Favor had made great improvement in that Alabama game. She went up with 2 feet and finished some unbelievable layups. Madison, unbelievable there. So I'm seeing growth from certain kids that we're going to have that kind of mindset at Tennessee.
Yeah, Favor seemed like she's added the jump shot to her game.
Yeah.
She was kind of threatening them from mid-range. with the way her and Madison are playing, I mean, how important is that going against like Janiyah on Thursday and playing in a tough environment where they're going to be physical?
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. I mean, that's why I'm proud of both of them right now. When you look at our season statistics, they're doing it not only on points, but they're doing it on rebounds, block shots, all the hustle points. You know, again, I always talk about today's society. Kids get so much caught up in points. What are you doing when you don't score the ball? And that's what I'm most proud about those two. They bring it night in and night out. They have some of the hardest jobs, but they wear a smile on their face and they take it with pride. And that's why we're right there in these top 25 matchups, because of the effort and attitude they give night in and night out.
I know she's still adjusting, but how do you feel like the learning process is going for Melissa right now?
For Melissa, yeah. No, I couldn't be more proud. You know, we went from 1 minute to 3 minutes. Every week, we'll put her in more. You know, she's just wet behind the ears. But when you watch her on tape, even defensively, I thought she was great. You know, for us to give up as many points as we did against Alabama, minutes are there today in practice, right? I need to see other people step up on the defensive end, and obviously she's playing good defense, so she's going to have an opportunity to even get more here come Tennessee game.
You don't have a lot of true freshmen, but the ones you do are playing good minutes. This time a year ago, they're getting ready for state playoffs. Now they're looking at it and thinking, I've got a whole month of a regular season left in. How are they making that proverbial wall that freshmen have to hit about this time of year?
Yeah, hopefully great. You know, the off week, I think I've learned going in my fourth year is managing, right? I really want off days to be off days. You know, some kids volunteer to come in and shoot on their own, but I think they've just been in a good spot. We set the schedule up for Christmas to give 6 days. This off week that just happened, I gave 3 out of the 7 days off, and we were able to still get a win against Kentucky, so we managed that correctly. And then the SEC obviously gave me a favor with Georgia before that game. We'll have another off week that I'll manage it the same. So I think if they don't feel overworn, that they don't look at it in that lens to the way you phrase that question. They haven't shown that behavior. Again, I think what I keep loving from them in the freshman group is all 3 of them keep saying, Coach, I just want to win. And when you win, you don't think about taking a day off, and that's what I'm the most proud about.
I know it's been a tough stretch with all these ranked teams in a row, but
Yeah.
I was looking at the SEC standings before this, and it's like 1 through 11. I think everyone's in the top 25. How much does it maybe help to have those matchups early in the season when you still have some of those big ones against LSU, South Carolina, Texas to come later in the year?
So I'm trying to understand the question. What do you mean early? Like,
to have this stretch of 7 top 25
yeah.
games right as you start SEC.
yeah, that's why I'm trying to make a lens and a perspective of what's up, right? Like, don't lose sight of who we're playing. We all signed up for this when you came to the SEC. You're possibly playing 2 Final Four teams, probably 2 Elite 8, 4 Sweet 16s, 8 second-round opponents. Like, it's crazy, right? So learn from it, grow from it, and that starts with me. Now, if I go in there throwing and basketballs and punching walls and taking their clothes away like the old model used to be back in the day, why? We're playing tough competition. We're competing. We just got to learn from an inexperienced group what it takes to win these top 25 games night in and night out. And right now we've shown we can do it at home, but we got to find an identity, continue to get one on the road. And that's the challenge right now.
All right. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Great questions, guys.